Watched this today a number of times, cutting this footage. Part of the reason I wanted you to see it is because I know that I can't get it out of my head. And I also just think it's something we should probably all see. In this case, this is a patient who has been proned already. And this team in St. Louis in this ICU, this is a 5-person team in the ICU that's turning the patient again back to what's called the supine position, putting the patient back on the back.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Worcester State News here in my makeshift studio in my dorm due to COVID-19 implications. We will be covering the COVID-19 cases here at Worcester State University. Since arriving on campus, students are required to wear a mask wherever they go besides their dorms. However, by doing this, students were able to stay COVID-free and no more than 7% of students or faculty had COVID-19. This allowed students, staff, and faculty to stay on campus throughout all of semester 1. Although we stayed on campus throughout the entire semester, things were different, protocols were put in place, and it just wasn't the same here on campus. Even though we were able to spend all of semester 1 on campus, I was able to go out to the field and get exclusive interview with students about their experience here on Worcester State's campus with COVID-19. Let's take a look at the first interview.
I felt pretty safe on campus. I mean, I don't really go anywhere, so my roommates and I have been testing negative all semester, so everything's been pretty good. My experience this year compared to last year was just basically the social life is really different. I'd see more people last year. There's more going out. This year it's kind of quiet. If COVID is still around next year, I think that people who are living off campus should be tested more because I know that they come in contact with people who are still living on campus, which makes it kind of unsafe for everyone.
That was a really great interview with Shay. Now let's go to the next interview. How has your experience on campus been with COVID?
I mean, I've spent a lot of time in my room, more than expected, and I feel like I don't get out as much as I was expecting to. We're living through it.
Is getting tested once a week a pain for you?
Nope. You do it yourself, so it couldn't be easier. You just walk in, blow your nose, show them your one card, and then you're done.
What would you change if you're living on campus semester 2?
I'd probably try to get out more. I mean, even though there's some restrictions, I'd probably try to get out more and hang out with more friends. Even though it's not technically allowed, I'd probably get out more, make more friends, and just make the best of what we have because we don't have too much right now.
How's your experience in the gym been different here with COVID?
I mean, with COVID, it's a little harassing how you can't deadlift with regular plates and you gotta bring them back. But honestly, the gym is my life here because there's not much else to do, and I go there every day. So it's kind of an escape from everything almost.
All right, so semester 1 living here at Worcester State, would you say it was good or a bad experience?
It was kind of a mixed experience. We got to stay the whole semester, so that's great, but we were kind of limited in what we could do, so not like the normal college semester for sure. It was it was in between.
Was weekly testing a problem for you?
Weekly testing was pretty easy. We could just go whenever. I know we were supposed to schedule appointments, but I never did. We just did the test ourselves. It was quick.
How has dining on campus been different now with COVID?
It's way different. The hours are awful. Stuff closes way earlier. There's less options, the protein bar, for example, at the gym's closed. Yeah, way different.
I would say mostly my life has changed, the social aspect of it. I don't get to see as many new people. I don't get to meet as many new people as I have in the past in school. Dining has definitely changed a lot. We used to have way more options before, and now not everything's self-serve. They serve it to you, which I understand, but it's just completely different. We had a lot more options last year. I don't think weekly testing is an issue because I feel since our school is doing weekly testing, that's a reason why we're still open. I know a lot of schools aren't doing weekly testing. They do monthly or bi-weekly testing, and they've got shut down a lot quicker, and we're still up and running, so I don't think weekly testing is an issue. If anything, I think that's helping us stay open. I do feel pretty safe on campus, especially since there's a lot of restrictions. I'm not really worried about getting it myself because I see a lot less people. I kind of do my own thing, and everyone else seems to be following the protocols that we put in place to stay safe.
Do you think Worcester State University has taken this COVID-19 pandemic seriously enough?
I absolutely do, because we have to wear masks outside. I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends, they go to different colleges and they don't have to in other states, especially the South and the Midwest. So, and I think that is comparable to our COVID rates, and it's acceptable to wear a mask, and it should be enforced as such. So I do think Worcester State, especially on that issue, and their issues on social distancing on lines at the pod or any other eating area, especially in your rooms too. You can only have one guest in each room. So those guidelines, they do help prevent COVID, so yes.
Has COVID-19 negatively affected your year so far here at Worcester State?
I think it overall has, with online classes being as stressful as in-person classes with homework and assignments, as well as exams. The motivation just isn't there with online classes, and especially not seeing a lot of your friends that you did last semester. I personally did not come here last year, went to a different school, but you know what, I was still able to make friends. But the people that were here last year, I know they're definitely hurting, because a lot of people did not come back here this semester and will not come back here for the remainder as long as these restrictions are in place here. So I think it has, although I'm glad, because I'm out of my house and I'd rather be here than there. So,
Do you think the year 2021 will be different here living on Worcester State's campus?
I do not. I don't see any evidence that cases are going down yet. We'll see how the vaccine goes and how that's implemented into Massachusetts guidelines, if it's mandatory, and if it works. I personally don't think it will change, maybe even the coming years or so. As long as the cases keep rising, I don't see any change going on here. So, yeah.
Thank you again to everyone who was interviewed throughout this segment. It was really interesting to see each and every student's individual perspective on how their first semester here at Worcester State went with COVID-19. With all the protocols put in place, I too believe that Worcester State did the right thing in keeping their students and faculty safe at all times. And it was a successful semester one for the most part. It'll be really interesting to see how semester 2 turns out for people who are living on campus. That's all from the studio. Thanks for tuning into this segment of Worcester State News. Until next time, have a good night.